Hello, my name is Richard Matzak from Queenscape. Queenscape is a Talend Platinum partner and implements projects in data integration as well as data governance. Especially at the beginning of data governance projects, it is often necessary to argue why an investment in data governance and therefore also in tools like Talend Data Platform and Talend Data Catalog is worthwhile for the company. In the following, I would like to provide you with methods and arguments that have proven themselves in practice to make the value of data and data governance more tangible. First, I would like to introduce you to the Friday afternoon measurement method, a simple way to make the topic of data quality tangible and quantifiable and help answer the question whether data quality can or should be optimized in the company. We then talk about different approaches, how the value of data can be determined, and show which costs arise from the lack of data quality or which profit potentials a company misses out on. Finally, we apply the presented approaches to a calculation example and show that an investment in data governance is worthwhile. Friday Afternoon Measurement by Tom Redman aims to help answer the question, do I need to worry about data quality? In the first step, 100 datasets are assembled. Preferably, the most current dataset should be used which are needed to an important process in the company. Examples would be customer or supplier data. Next, select the 10 to 15 most important attributes for the process and enter them in a spreadsheet. 100 rows times 15 columns. Next, put together a small team that really understands the data and meet with them on the Friday afternoon. People tend to be free on Fridays, and that's where the name of the method is coming from. And then work row by row through your spreadsheet and ask them to mark every entry where the data just looks wrong. This takes about maximum 1 minute per record, so after 90 minutes you should be done. Next, look at each row and rate whether the row is perfect or not. A row is perfect when there are no marked attribute in the row. Finally, sum up the number of perfect records. Now the interpretation of this number. The data quality is 70%, which means 30% of the records had a serious data quality issue. 30% of the time, the process to produce these data records did not work well or encountered a problem. To answer the original question, if we have to worry about data quality, I would answer with a clear yes, indeed, you need to worry. Bad data causes all kinds of trouble. Good decision making is harder, customers are upset, and additional costs are incurred. A simple way to estimate these costs is based on the observation that it costs 10 times as much to fully complete a unit of work with bad data that has to be corrected, as opposed to the regular scope of work with correct data. In the above example, the employee using the data in the subsequent process will be able to complete his work 70% of the time without additional effort. But 30% of the time, it will cost about 10 times as much to make corrections and complete the work. Let's say our work team needs to complete 1000 units per day, and each unit costs €1, provided the data is correct. If everything is correct, one working day costs €1000. However, with only 700 correct records, the costs sum up to €3700. It can clearly be seen that the total costs are almost 4 times higher than they would have been had the data been completely correct. Companies cannot and must not tolerate such costs. The argument of increased process costs can always be applied when there is data quality problems. Often, this value can be used to initiate further investigations and discussion regarding investment in data governance. If the company is ready to continue the discussion, now would be a good time to address the value of data. One can measure and determine the value of data. For this purpose, one can make use of the common methods of financial valuation of intangible assets. For this, the three following approaches come into consideration. First, the evaluation of procurement costs, or how expensive it is to procure the data. Second, the evaluation of utility value, or how much profit can be gained with the data. Third, evaluation of the market value, or is there a market for my data? How much would a potential customer pay for the data? Let's take a closer look at procurement costs. If one has no starting point to determine what data might be worth, a possible point of approach is to determine what costs have been incurred to get possession of the data. This could be purchase costs if data sets have been purchased, or generation costs if data have been generated. For example, for making and keeping data available, maintaining it, and assuring its quality. These are costs that can be quite significant. An example from the manufacturing industry shows that the maintenance cost for a single entry part of part master data for components that can be sold sum up to a value of 500 to 2,500 euros per year, depending on the complexity of the part. If you consider the complete data set consists of several thousand entries, a data value of several million euros is quickly reached. The second approach to determine the value of data is through the utility value of the data. What does the data contribute to the process? What economic return can be generated from this data? Let's look at the example of supplier master data in large distributed organizations. It is important that supplier master data is reasonably maintained and consistent. If all procurement volumes from one supplier can be bundled across all locations worldwide, the resulting purchasing power can be used in purchasing negotiations to negotiate favorable terms. The utility value in this example is purchasing savings that can be achieved by bundling procurement volumes. If this bundling cannot be accomplished or is faulty, the negotiation position worsens, which entails worse conditions, which leads to higher costs. The third approach to determine the value of data is the determination of the market value. Is there a market for my data? If so, who is the buyer and what is he willing to pay for it? This approach assumes, however, that the company is able to create data products of sufficient quality. Since we are mostly at the beginning of data governance project at the time of our argument, the market value approach is usually not appropriate for the existing dataset. However, a consideration of the profit potentials of corresponding data products, which become possible with an established data governance, is often worthwhile, even if it is usually very imprecise to quantify. Now we have a good overview of approaches to determine the value of data, from which good and quantifiable arguments for investing in data governance can be derived. In the following, I want to demonstrate to you using an easy example calculation that investing in data governance is worthwhile. Let's make the following assumptions. The company has 1 million customer data records. A data quality index of 70% has been determined as in our previous example. We make the very conservative assumption that an additional revenue potential of €1 per year can be generated per customer. In addition, we assume, again very conservatively, that the process costs increase by a factor of 5 in the case of incorrect data. Although we have assumed a very low revenue potential per customer, €300,000 in potential sales are lost. The effect of insufficient data quality on process costs are even more significant. With perfect data quality, the process costs would amount to €10 million. With a data quality of 70% and the assumption that the process costs for faulty data increase by a factor of 5, 12 million in additional process costs are incurred due to insufficient data quality. If one were to invest only 10% of this 12 million euro per year in a data governance initiative with the goal to improve data quality, given an average salary of 60,000 euro per year per person, would allow a team of 10 people to be set up, and another 600,000 euro would still be available for technologies, change management, enablement, and so on, only in the first year. At this point, it should be noted that today we have dealt exclusively with the negative effects of poor data quality. We have not even begun to argue with you many additional positive effects of a data governance initiative. However, that would be the content for another video. At this point, my presentation comes to an end. I hope I was able to give you some arguments and methods that will help you justify an investment in data governance in the future. Thank you very much and have fun with many more exciting contributions at Talend Connect.